Okay, so thank you for joining Black Hippie Lounge. I'm your host, Chanel, and today we have a guest. Her name is Bianca Blissett, right? That's how you say it?
Yes,
Yes.
with two T's.
Yes, with two T's.
Two T's.
She is
Yeah.
she is the host of the Ignite the Flame podcast. And so I found her podcast a few months ago. And I listened to a few episodes and kind of reached out to her about potentially collaborating. So, with divine timing, this is the right time for us to do so. So, without further ado, Bianca, thank you for coming on the podcast. And we're just going to start off by letting you tell a little bit about yourself to listeners.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. This was for sure divine timing. I'm just like, first of all, I'm just shocked, like, of the amount of like people that would come to me and say that like I'm impacting them and I'm helping them on the journey just by being vulnerable and being real.
Mhm.
And so it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to have this be my first podcast as an interviewee on. So yeah, my name is Bianca Amanda. I mean, I have a very I use that as like my stage name in a way because it's um my name is very long. I was adopted, but I like specifically like Bianca Amanda because it means pure and worthy of love. And so that is just like a constant reminder to me that I am a genuine person, that I am a loving person, and I'm worthy of love. And so I say that because um, nothing is a coincidence, right? And so I identify with being like a divine feminine counterpart in misalignment right now. And so this journey that I'm on right now, embarking on, is really just a journey of um, coming home to self
Mm.
and replacing limiting beliefs with sovereignty, with um, passion, with love and commitment. And so, yeah, I really love just sharing my experiences and I really love connecting with people. So yeah, like, yeah, that's, I guess, a little bit about myself. I live in Atlanta right now, Sandy Springs. And I'm about to turn 30 in a few months, which that is exciting. Like that is super exciting for me. That is, I was telling my friend the other day, like that is the start of a new era for me. And he was making fun of me because it's like a new era, like how dramatic, but like it's real, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just a little bit about myself.
Nice. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. 30s is definitely it's just a new era. It's just you handle things differently. Life is just differently. So
Yeah.
definitely excited for you for that too. You'll see. Okay, so you have a podcast that explores the idea of twin flames. Can you explain what this term means for those who may be unfamiliar?
Yeah. If you listen to my podcast, like every now and then I would I would mostly try and identify as a twin soul as opposed to a twin flame.
Mhm.
Because twin flame is kind of like the media way of saying it, like the I guess a taboo way of saying it, right? But like being a twin flame, twin soul, however it resonates with you, um, basically like okay, I'll just start with this, the backstory for Ignite the Flame.
Mhm.
When I started Ignite the Flame, I started because I felt really compelled to share what was happening.
Mhm.
Like, and then it's interesting because whenever I experience something negative or traumatic, I always find myself, my inner dialogue is kind of pathetic. Like it's really like very negative sometimes, but then there's always a silver lining, like, but why is this happening for you?
Mhm.
And like how can I always find myself asking, how can I help someone who's probably in the same situation as this?
Yeah.
So that's why I started this podcast, because I knew that overall, like what resonated with me when I was doing research about twin flames after I found out I was a twin flame and embarking on this journey is the fact that we're here for the collective. We're here for humanity, and we're here as light workers to help the vibration of the planet. And so most likely if you resonate with being a twin flame, chances are you in your community felt like an outcast, felt like you were trying to be placed in this box, or that you just never fit in, and you dealt with a lot of like lower frequencies, right? And so you were just different, but then you couldn't be authentic, right? And so yeah, it was, so that made me realize like, okay, like I have a story to tell, and what I've been through is to serve others, right? Like it serves me by helping me come home to myself, to love myself, to be my sovereignty, and to let go of attachments. And if I can go through what I went through, then I could definitely be that light for someone else who may not even understand what they're going through, who may not even realize that, you know, like they could get out of this traumatic situation, and you know, for whatever reasons why, like they just have a hard time letting go. So that's essentially why I started this podcast, and like how I just aspire to help people, you know, ignite their flame.
Yeah. No, I like that. Especially because the few, like when I found your episode, the few episodes that when I started listening to them, it was definitely like something that I have heard of twin flame, but I just wasn't sure what exactly that meant. So I definitely think that the way that you talk on your podcast, it helps, you know, it's helpful. Like you're sharing your story, but you're also explaining what it actually means for other people too. So I definitely
Yeah. And
think.
I just realized I didn't even fully answer that question, so I apologize. Like you asked, what is a twin soul? So yeah, sorry, let me get to that because that's important. I think, okay, like it was interesting because when I was looking at the questions, I'm like, I would love to share my own opinion and my own experience, but it's up to you guys to decipher and discern what is right for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that through encounters, experience, research. So, what am I saying? Like, I can say what it means for me, but if it doesn't resonate, like, you have to now do the work and find what resonates for you. So, like, for me, that's why I said like twin soul resonates more for me rather than twin flame, because a flame, it can be extinguished.
Yeah.
Right. Or it has, that's why I said ignite the flame. Like there's something inside of you, a spark inside of you that just needs to be ignited. And so that was the whole concept behind that. But as I started doing more episodes and stuff, and really aligning to my real purpose on earth, like I realized like, okay, I'm a twin soul. Like I am a soul, like within a soul, within a soul, within a soul. Like I am, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like there's so many parts of me, and that there's a part of me that lives in this body, but then there's also a part of me that is in another body, and also having their own like fair share of experiences. And so we're separated only in the physical in that sense, but we're always connected. And so like on an energetic level, we're the highest match that you could have. On a soul level, I mean, that is like your blueprint in another body, right? So like there's never going to be a connection like your twin soul, like your counterpart connection, ever. And like I think people confuse the term connection with attachment sometimes. And that has a lot to do with trauma. And so that's up to you to like identify those wounds and really call relationships what it is. If you have a twin soul, like they mirror you and they trigger the hell out of you. And like it's a call to action basically. It's like your higher selves who committed to this journey on earth saying like this is what you need to wake up. This is what you need to align yourself to your purpose. This is what you need to be at the ultimate frequency to help the planet. And this is what you sign up for to have it. And then at the core of it is like, this is the ultimate love. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is source, this is God. And so your counterpart is God. And God is love, God is pure. God is not confusion. God is not hate. God is not manipulation. God is not torment. And so at the core level of a twin soul connection is pure, unfiltered love. And so I found that with the twin soul connection, it gets you back to who you really are, who you were always meant to be. And then everything else falls into place. So, yeah.
So you feel like your twin soul is technically like the right person? Or is it just an experience that you have to get you to the next level for yourself?
Both. Like, there's not a day that goes by that, like, even though right now I'm not with him, like, that I don't, when I visualize my future, when I think about my desires, it always comes back to him. Now that I know that he's there. Before he even came into my life, I literally prayed about that man. Like, I just found the journal, and that's not a coincidence either. I thought I lost it, but I just found the journal where I literally, every single thing that I wanted in the man, I wrote down. 2 years later, he came into my life and happened to be my counterpart. I didn't know a thing about twin souls at all. It just happened. And so, yes, like, I think he is the one. And I find myself even now comparing almost everyone to him, to that feeling that I had when I was in complete alignment with him. That's like, you cannot, once you have that, once you know love, there's no turning back. But then it's like, now what happens when you're not with your twin soul, right? It's like, so then that's where the second part of your question comes in. Like, is the experience, it is the experience, because you are preparing for union. You are preparing for the love that you always knew existed. That people try to convince you was a fairy tale. That it wasn't real, that you're delusional. They try to gaslight you because they are too afraid to actually face their own fears. So they project it onto you. You know?
Getting deep, girl. But I like it. I like what you're talking about. Seriously. Okay, so what made you start your podcast, and what was your goal with creating the podcast and the topics that you discuss?
Yeah, like, I just I kind of accidentally answered that earlier, but yeah, I created the podcast because I was just called to do it. Like, I knew, I'm like, okay, when you are afraid to do something, run towards it. Run towards it. Like, that applies to anything in your life when it comes. And I say this quite frequently on my podcast, like, do the opposite of what intimidates you, right? So, like, if you are afraid to hit up your counterpart, afraid to express your feelings, that's a block. And so that's why it's coming up, because you need to address it. And so, like, address it, do the work, and then, like, eliminate those lower frequencies so that you can be like, go ahead and operate in love, and reach out to him in love without expectations, or reach out to them and without expectations. So I started the podcast because I was very afraid. Like, I needed, if you listen to the first few episodes, like, my throat chakra was like, closed up. Like it was like, do not talk. Like you are expressing yourself. How dare you express yourself?
Yeah.
And that's why I had an episode called Imposter Syndrome. Like these are real. We don't have enough people talking about real shit. We don't.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like the shit that actually matters. The shit, like, not to be vulgar, but like the shit that stinks. Like, it's like, no, I don't want to be around that. Like, I'm repulsed by that. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah. But it's like, but someone has to clean that up.
Yeah.
Someone has to perform surgery. If you have this deep wound inside of you and you're letting it fester, you're letting it rot, someone has to go in and perform that surgery.
Right.
Someone has to do, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so it was really like Bianca. Like I was in separation at the time with my counterpart, and I love expressing myself. I needed an outlet, and because this scared me, I knew I had to do it. And so I faced my fears and I just went for it. And I knew that other people like me were having the same experiences. And I felt like I was doing them a disservice by not sharing these encounters that I was having, these experiences I was having. So that's like the meaning behind the episodes. Really, the podcast is like confessions of a divine feminine. Like, and that's what my poetry book is titled, that's about to come out. But like, yeah, so it's just, these are a confession of divine feminine going through life. So it's really, and I said this on my episode that's about to come out, like it's really a timeline of the journey of, to me, what is a twin flame journey.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Because like what you see in the media, even for example, like Megan, whatever her name is, and that rapper guy, Machine Gun Kelly, like they would say like they're twin flames, and it's like they're so dark and so evil, and it's not even evil but corrupt, that it's like it's like let's be real here, like the same thing that God can do, the enemy can do. Right? God gave him permission to do certain things on earth, right? And so if at the core we're source as twin flames, we're source and we're love and we're a representation of what God is, then why wouldn't there be false doctrine of that for twin flames on the enemy side? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't really listen to what the media has to say so much about twin flames, and I follow with what resonates with me. And yeah, so I found communities that resonated with me. I found people that resonated with me, and I wanted to have a platform to talk about the real things that may prevent union. So yeah, that's the whole purpose of it all.
Nice. Okay, so in one of your episodes titled "Delay is Not Denial," what does this mean to you, and why is patience important in manifestation?
Yeah. I went back and listened to that episode in preparation for this interview, and you could tell, like at that time, on some real shit, girl, like I was heavily medicated. I was medicated, and I still found purpose in that.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like I couldn't even, normally Bianca 2 years ago, even a year ago, would have judged the shit out of the Bianca that was on that episode. But now I was like, oh, I see it. And it's okay. Like you did what you could. And when I say medicated, like I was diagnosed, I had a Kundalini awakening last year. And I mean, I saw a lot of things. I went through a lot of things. And so it just, like, I was just misdiagnosed with bipolar, all that stuff. So they medicated the shit out of me. And then I stayed in that, and my body was rejecting it. I'm not on medication now anymore. I know I don't have bipolar disorder. I'm in therapy. Like, no one agrees with that diagnosis, but that just goes to show that the matrix will do like whatever it needs to do to keep you trapped, right? And so in that episode, Delay is Not a Denial, I was talking about God essentially, and like faith, and like letting, and I was doing my devotionals and stuff, and just letting God work on you, letting the divine work, right? And so I would be lying if I said that everything is all like good now. Like when I made that episode in February, my counterpart and I were at an all-time like low. And I never, when I was with him last year, I knew that he was still in that energy of like playboy, but I loved him so much and I accepted him so much that it didn't matter. But then, so I've heard stories about counterparts being in karmic situations, entertaining third parties. I knew he was doing that, but this, in February, January of this year, I found out that he was actually doing it, like in living in the house with him, like it's a guy, and so like being with them, and not really choosing me. And so I had to confront myself and go back in. And I realized now, as listening back to that episode, like for so long I've just been scratching the surface and I haven't really been letting God in. But that was like duality, because it served a purpose. By me wanting to do the work and not allowing God to do the work, God allowed it so that I could see what life is like without him. And so, or her, they rather, because I don't believe, I like saying God is my father because I never really had a father. So that brings me comfort. And so I registered with being like a divine mother too. So like, yeah, I just identify with God being a father sometimes because it's like the big father in the sky kind of thing, you know, the person that you never really had. Anyway, so yeah, like it just, now listening back to the episode, I understand what patience and faith really is. Because patience is, faith rather, is hope in things that you cannot see. And so when I produced that episode, I really did believe that, and I was in that power. And despite somewhat, you know, still being in matrix, trying to make it work, feeling conflicted, still believing what was outside of me rather than what I felt inside, not wanting to really dive deep, like I still trusted that the love I have for myself and the love that I have for my counterpart was enough. And so that really is like coincides with patience, because if you desire it, it's meant for you to happen. It's meant for you to have it. And your desires always align with God. That's why he placed it there.
Right.
So that's what faith is. It's like, okay, like this is what I want to manifest, right? But then you have to look at it in a spiritual sense where it's like, what is currently manifesting? And how does that negate from what you desire to manifest? And then you take that negation and then you apply it to what you need to do, right? Yeah. And so, yeah, like that's where patience comes in, because like patience and grace, like understanding that you're not exactly where you want to be, but you're where you need to be. And so where you need to be right now is crucial, because it's what you need to do in order to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
it's almost like what the Bible says, like work now in your youth so you can reap the benefits of it later, and so like, yeah, I hope that answers your question. I know that was like a little
No,
deep
that
and
was
like
good. That was good. No, you answered it. Okay, so my next question is, how do you combine your faith and spirituality with your love life and the idea of twin flame love? What are your thoughts on why God gives us a twin flame or twin soul?
Okay. I'll answer in increments. I'll answer the last question first.
Okay.
God gives us a counterpart, a twin soul because, man, oh, I feel myself getting emotional. Okay. Man, God God is so real. Like, it's just even if you don't necessarily believe in God, it's because you, like, for me in my own experience, like at one point I severely hated God. I blamed him for everything. But then guess what? That's because I knew he existed. In order to hate, you have to love, right?
Right.
So at one point you did love God and you knew he existed. That childlike mentality that the Bible talks about, like all that is real. That's why it in the Bible it says get back to that childlike thinking. Be like a child. And that at its core is like what the twin soul experience is about, right? Like when you're with your twin soul, before all that yuckiness and the trauma and the jadedness comes in, you just want to be kids with them. You just want to love them. You just want to be with them. You accept them, right? You don't really judge them. And if you do, then it's like you're judging yourself, right? So I believe that God gave us, if you are a twin soul, if you do have a counterpart, you were seeking for absolute love that you knew was there. And it says remaining time 10 minutes. We can switch over to mine. It's like totally free on mine.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll pause. Let me send actually
Okay. Okay, so my next question is, how do you know when you are in the right relationship? How has God shown you the right partner? And is that your soulmate or twin flame?
okay. Wait, repeat it one more time for me.
Sure. I said, how do you know when you are in the right relationship? How has God shown you the right partner? And is that your soulmate or just like a twin flame, almost like a lesson?
That's an interesting question. And a part of me feels like I can't or I shouldn't like say what is like right or whatever, but like for me, the right relationship is you. It's always going to be you, right? That's what your counterpart is for. Your counterpart is you. And so, like I was saying before, with the experience of the twin flame, like, when you find yourself yearning for that like impossible love, right? For yourself. Like when I was younger, I kept on saying, like, I just want me. Like, I want someone, I literally said, like, I want someone like me. If I knew what I was asking for, if I knew about twin flames, I wouldn't have asked for this. But I'm grateful because, like, twin flames are about ascension. I'm so thankful that I'm not like my family, my predecessors. I'm thankful, not to shame them, not to, yeah, not to shame them, but it's like, I would hate if I loved myself, I would hate to settle for something I knew I didn't belong in.
Mm.
And so to answer your question, I it's right when you can heal, when you could be present, when you could be authentic and unapologetic.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You could live your truth and not be in fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, that person will accept you no matter what, unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe you can only get like that type of real love, like I said, comes within yourself. And if your counterpart is you, then that love is going to be reciprocated with them. They're just you, another version of you.
Mm.
That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important. I really feel called to say that it's important that, like, if you're in a soulmate connection or not, yeah, soulmate experience, why do you feel that person is your soulmate? You
Mm.
know, like they may be, you may be trauma bonded, you may be settling, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe they really are a soulmate.
Mm.
And soulmates are supportive. So like you're getting what you need. And so I think the ultimate love is your counterpart, is your twin soul. But it's all about what's right for you in that moment, in that period of time. You know what I'm saying? If you need someone who supports your dreams and your aspirations, what you identify with at the time, and you find that person, that means that they're aligned to you. You're aligned with them.
Mm-hmm.
So don't rush it off and say like, oh, you're not my counterpart, or you're not my twin flame, so I'm not gonna have you. No, they're there in your life for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And either which way, it's all to prepare you for twin flame union.
Right.
Everything to prepare you for union.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I like that. Everything happens definitely for a reason. So how does forgiveness play a role in one's spiritual journey and meeting their love?
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like God sometimes does things backwards, or what we perceive as backwards, right? Because nothing is really real.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just here to master yourself, master these experiences so you don't have to repeat them again. And that you could be where you always saw yourself being.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I'm getting like, I don't want to get too deep. I want to be able to like answer these questions and just answer, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, we can get deep. Like that's the whole point. We definitely.
Okay, ask me one more time. So I'll give it like, I won't sugarcoat it, but I won't go too deep. Ask me one more
Okay.
time.
So how does forgiveness play a role in one's spiritual journey and meeting their love?
Okay. Okay. I feel this in my shanana, so I'm gonna say it.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be said. Man, yeah. So like if like I was saying before, like God can work backwards in order for him to move, in order for you to move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my personal experience, I had a hard time with forgiveness. I hated a lot of people. I was a victim.
Mm-hmm.
I never really felt like I had a choice, right? And that's part of the reason why I created this podcast, because it was like, I do have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I have a right to be here just as much as you have a right to be here. Like, think about it. Like, if you've been through abusive situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
We 99% of the population has gone through something traumatic,
Right.
whether they realize it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, birth is traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's what happens. Trauma is what happens externally that shapes something and twists something inside of you internally. As simple as that. A breakup could be traumatic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So forgiveness. Like, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is, first of all, it's for yourself. If someone comes to you and says, "Can you forgive me?" It's like they want to feel better about themselves for what they did.
Right.
Instead of apologizing, they know you're a good person. So instead of necessarily apologizing for their actions and showing you that they changed, can you forgive me? I'm going to say the same. So can you just come back to my life? Because I want to use you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, forgiveness is for you. Do it at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
Do it at your own pace.
Yeah.
Because if you pretend, guess what? You can't hide. On this journey, you cannot hide.
Right.
That shit that's inside of you, like I said, time to put on your surgical gloves, put on the mask, put on the equipment, because you're going in. Okay, you can't hide from it. Like, so it's like whether you want to deal with it now or whether you want to avoid it. Guess what? On this journey in particular, you cannot run from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about that in one of my earlier episodes. The whole runner and chaser dynamic. There's no really runner and chaser. You're a runner, you're a track star. Like, you're always running from yourself. You're avoiding yourself.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So think about it at a fundamental level, logically. If you have a twin soul, I know I'm going off a side, but it's for a point. If you have a twin soul and they run away from you, are they not you?
Running away from you.
Right. So make it make sense.
Mm.
That's why I said discernment is key. What actually makes sense to you? What actually registers to you?
Mm.
And you use that and apply it to your life. Don't use your own sovereignty, use your own power.
Mm.
Do not listen to what people tell you about shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm saying, like, it's like, don't allow people to manipulate you, to confuse you. That's not God. That's not love.
Mm.
Listen to your heart. Listen to your soul. Your counterpart loves you so much more than you know. So much more. You would have not signed up for this journey if it wasn't for love. Whether it was in this lifetime or not, you're going to get it. You are meant for that. The decision is if you believe it or not. So that's what forgiveness is. Believing, knowing that you are okay, that you have applied grace to that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so like, you know, I feel like, because like I want to share this moment and then I guess we can move on. But like with my family, with my aunt, like, okay, I had so much like hatred for my aunt. But at some point I just forgave her because I loved her more than that hate. I forgave her, but I couldn't have her in my life because I forgave her. And hear me when I say that. I forgave her, so I could not have her in my life any longer. So what does that mean? Because I forgave you, I see you. I allowed myself to take off the rose-colored glasses that I saw you through.
Mm.
And I saw you for who you really are.
Mm.
I accepted it and I moved on.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
just because I forgave you
Doesn't mean
doesn't
you
mean
have
I
that.
have to forget.
No. And you
Exactly.
don't have to have that person in your life moving forward just because you.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's so much more important to actually realize. Think about it. If you forgave them, they know you forgave them and they know that you love them. So they will not change because they do not love themselves.
Mm.
They will manipulate you. They will continue to try to get you on their level.
Yeah.
So at that point, forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is about you. This whole journey is about you.
Yeah.
So at the whole principle of forgiveness is forgiving yourself for allowing them to hurt you and betray you.
Mm. Yeah.
If you forgave yourself, would you still be with that person?
No.
Exactly.
Mm. I like that. Um, that kind of ties into what the next one, because you talked about discernment. So, how does God talk to you? Not just about love, but in general. And how can listeners learn to hear God? Like, what is your advice to someone who wants to be able to experience this? Like, knowing when they're hearing God's voice.
Yeah, that was a tricky one for a very long time for me. Because I always went against my intuition, right? In order to survive, we hide from the things that actually serve us because we're trying to force ourselves to belong. But really, we belong here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't go against what you know, right? I find lately that, or I'm finding out now that God is my higher self.
Mm-hmm.
That's why now I'm realizing when they say in like Al-Anon meetings or whatever, like your higher power, your higher power. It's like, oh, I get it. Okay, your
Yeah.
higher self, like, because like we're all gods.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who are chosen, those of us who have souls, are gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just God with a lowercase g, not the God. You know what I'm saying? So so I could say that connecting with your higher self, connecting with your sovereignty is a direct line to source. And so what did God give us, all of us, that we're tapped into, right? That is free, that is unlimited, that is powerful? Intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the enemy works so hard to get you to go against your first instincts, right? You hear so often, damn, I should have trusted my first gut,
Mm-hmm.
my first thought. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
When you take a test, right? Bullshit test. Like your first thought is A, but you're so scared you go with C.
Yeah.
Why? It's all calculated. It's if you're so rooted in fear, you can't think straight. You learn to trust the thing that is meant to help you.
Mm.
You learn not to trust the thing that's meant to help you.
Help you.
And so I can really say that this twin flame journey helped me get back to God, get back to Christ consciousness. And I did it with I mean, it was for me like I have like two fixed signs in my chart. So I'm stubborn as hell.
Mm.
I'm stubborn as hell. Okay. And I got myself in a lot of shit because I didn't trust God.
Mm.
But because God is so forgiving, so kind, so loving, we're the one who puts ourselves down. We'll be crying on the way to God, like, God, I messed up. God, like I knew this was wrong. And he's just like, shh, I'm here.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain.
Yeah.
guess what? I was there the whole time too.
Right.
When you were crying and then you felt that sense of relief after crying, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So God is everywhere. God is everywhere and nowhere. He's when you're in a difficult situation, he's that person that comes to drop off the mail and says, "Oh, you look good today. Oh, you're such a beautiful soul."
Mm-hmm.
He's that friend that calls you up out of nowhere. Are
Yeah.
you okay? Did you eat today?
Mm.
He's that stranger on the street that you felt compelled to give money to, but then they gave you a hug and said, "I see you."
Mm-hmm.
He's that tear on the pillow at night when
Mm-hmm.
you're all alone and you need to let it out.
Yeah.
He's that relief. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I
And so
definitely do.
yeah, like I hear God um that's quite, I'm gonna be honest, like that's quite difficult for me to answer because um I know I have some more work to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
But now what has helped me is the intention.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Now that I've had enough, um, the bull has gotten tired.
Yeah.
Um, now that I'm stopping to rest and and actually have the desire to hear God and get out of my own way, now I'm seeing him more.
Mm.
So that could look like the first thought that you have, the gut instinct that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a matter of not betraying that.
Mm.
Because what happens when you hear God, because you love God, right? In any relationship, when we love something, we tend to hurt the ones that we love. We tend to hurt the ones that we love the most.
Mm.
You know, we take advantage in a way.
Yeah.
So I would say once you stop taking advantage of the what's really going on, that's how you hear God.
Mm.
It's the sincerity, the intention when you pray
Mm.
and when you rest.
Right. And being open to, what God has to say too.
Yeah,
Something that is sometimes is a blocker too. Like you just want to hear what you want to hear versus like
right.
God
But
needs.
but see, that's where unconditional love comes in,
Mm-hmm.
right? God's not gonna force himself on you.
Yeah.
He loves you enough to say, okay, go do what you gotta do. I'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't had enough? Okay, I don't want you to do it, but I can't tell you what to do. It's free will.
Yeah.
I could give you angel signs. I could give you songs. I could give you messages here and there, but it's up to you. Yes, you have to be open to it. But
Mm-hmm.
what happens when you don't even know what to look for?
Right.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the block.
Mm.
And so sometimes, the I would say to start off with, why do you betray yourself? Because if whatever happens internally is always going to be a reflection of what's happening externally.
Mm.
That's it. That's how the universe works. That's how karma works. You attract what you feel.
Mm.
So if you feel like you're a piece of shit, if you feel like you're unworthy, if you feel like you're inadequate, you're going to attract situations that prove that.
Mm.
It's until you believe that God is real, until you believe that you are open and willing to hear what God is giving to you and stop denying yourself and stop betraying yourself, only then can you receive.
Mm.
Only then can God do the work.
Oof. Definitely dropping some gems. But thank you for that though. And I'm sure listeners will definitely appreciate that. All right, so the one last thing is, can you share a closing message on why love is important and how listeners can walk in faith to attain the love that they desire?
A closing message and how listeners can walk in faith.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll answer the faith question first. Walking in faith is being comfortable in the unknown.
Mm.
The healed feminine energy is comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Mm.
The healed masculine energy is comfortable being a leader, being the one who goes against the grain to serve and protect.
Mm.
So conscious in between that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Christ consciousness, God consciousness, in between the merging of those two energies is love,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Love is free, love is kind, love is patient. So no, so essentially it's just doing everything with pureness, right? So that's what faith, walking in faith is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I'm it's like always like self-evaluation, right?
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't belong, what does belong?
Mm-hmm.
What works for me, what doesn't work for me? What feels right, what doesn't feel right?
Right.
And using that as your guide, as your compass.
Mm.
And I almost feel like a hypocrite because right now, like I'm in a part-time job that I'm afraid to leave.
Mm.
That's not faith.
Yeah.
You can't say that you love God and you're in faith, but then you act opposite of that by being in fear.
Yeah.
So so but I can tell you this, that the contract is up. The gig is up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the gag. Like it's like so I'm already I planned it. I'm no longer in fear, but my masculine energy, the unhealed side of me that I still have to work on, wants to know the answers. Is
Mm.
uncomfortable being in the unknown.
Mm.
But that's where the healed side of me is like, but you're supposed to be like that.
Mm.
You know? So yeah, so to answer your question overall, for the closing message, something came to me, a shower thought came to me, and I would like to share it.
Okay.
Living in your power sometimes gets frightening,
Mm.
especially when you were beaten to submission, literally or figuratively. You were beaten to submission. You were oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to love your oppressor.
Mm.
So this image came in my head of a dark tunnel. And at the end of that dark tunnel was a light. And so the message that came through from source was, no matter what, no matter how dark life may seem, and no matter how powerful that darkness may feel, overwhelming that darkness may feel, guess what is bright enough, powerful enough to shine enough light at the end of that dark tunnel for you to see? Light, right?
Yeah.
So even if the light is at a distance, it's still present.
Mm.
And only you can do the work. Not your mother, not your uncle, not your sister, no one.
Mm.
They have their own portion to do.
Yeah.
So acknowledge that if you are the light and you may feel like you're surrounded by darkness, the enemy may try to get you to dim your light, but it doesn't matter how much he tries. the flame is still lit.
Mm.
So even if it may feel small to you, if it really is small, if it's not powerful, why would anyone or anything try to get you to realize or think to believe that it's dim, that it's not functioning?
Yeah.
If they could see it and they see that it's strong enough to attack it and not want you to be it, they are afraid.
Right.
They know how powerful even the smallest flame is.
Mm.
They know even a spark can be used to light a whole nation.
Yeah.
So what may feel diminished to you is your sovereignty.
Mm.
So keep on going. Keep on shining your light. You're going to be so powerful that that light from a distance, when you finally get through that tunnel, you're going to see that as you get closer and closer to the light, closer and closer to your sovereignty, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger till overflows.
Mm.
So now it's filling up the whole tunnel that you perceived as darkness.
Mm.
And now you have so much that not only is your cup full, but you have enough to give to others.
Mm.
And that's what divinity is all about. The love of self.
Mm.
Not being selfish, being self-full, right? Because like selfish is like, like I'm mediocre with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're full, your cup runs over.
Right. Oof. That was good. That was good. Bianca, you brought some really great knowledge to this interview. I definitely appreciate it. I'm sure listeners will definitely appreciate it too. So thank you for, taking the time to do this with me today. Do you want to share any upcoming projects, or I know you mentioned a book, but did you want to share any upcoming projects or social media?
Yeah, I would love to share with you guys. And like honestly, right now I am just living my life and like on the same journey as everybody else that's listening to this podcast. So, like that's why I pride myself in being as authentic as possible, because I don't want anyone to idolize me or think something that is not, buy into the illusion. No, like, what I'm saying is this, I believe in creating your own reality, and that starts with being real. So yeah, I don't like, I mean, I have projects, but it's about like getting myself together so that I can be able to provide for other people. So the projects that I'm working on right now is like, yes, I am working on a few books. But in order for me to get those books published, I need to pay for it. So it's like, what I'm saying? It's just
Process.
the project. Yeah, the projects that I'm working on are up and coming. Definitely by next year, I have a manifestation book out. I will have a manifestation book out, and then I also will have a poetry book out. And these are just books that has helped me connect more with myself and have an outlet to just express myself. So you can look out for that. I will definitely post it on my social media and on my podcast. My podcast is Ignite the Flame, and my social media is Blissful Empowerment Co. and Blissful Empowerment on TikTok. I am off of Instagram for my personal page for now, because the glow up is about to be so real. Like, so I'll probably be back on my Instagram sometime next year when I'm 30 and thriving. So yeah, that's just all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. And I will definitely when I post the episode, I'll tag your page as well so people can be able to connect and follow you. Yeah, like I said, thank you again for taking the time to do this. I had a great time. I feel like you dropped a lot of gems that a lot of people will resonate with and, take it, and definitely follow her podcast, Ignite the Flame. And yeah, thank you so much for being on Black Hippie Lounge.
Thank you. It was such an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Chanel. And yeah, just go ahead and tag me, or like I don't know the technical word for it, girl. Collaborate with me on Instagram.
Something like that. I'll figure it out.
All right, thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Of course. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel.